I want to welcome everybody to USA Biz Party. It is a Twitter chat. That's how we started. We are expanding and growing. It is so exciting. But we are a Twitter chat that meets every single Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we talk about all things. And when I say all things, I mean all things concerning business. We talk about very business related things like finances and marketing and employees and outsourcing. We also talk about content and those kinds of things, those little important aspects of a business that you need to stay on top of. We also talk about what do you do to take care of yourself? What are things that we need to do so that we stay at the top of our game even when we're not feeling like it? So we cover a whole bunch of things. So if you're watching us on YouTube, do me a favor, please like and subscribe and hit that little button down there, that little bell, so that you get notified when we go live. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, go ahead, comment. We would love to hear from you. Now, today, I have with us a very special guest, Mr. Ramon Ray. Ramon, welcome to USA Biz Party Live.
Thanks. It's deliriously awesome to be here. Thank you to you, Anna, for what you do, and the whole team here at USA Biz Party. So thanks for having me. Glad to be here, and hopefully I can add some value and share something with your audience. So thank you.
For sure. And just if you don't know Ramon, which I'm kind of doubting that you don't, but just in case you don't know Ramon is a serial entrepreneur. He is a man on a mission to help small businesses grow and be the best they can be. He understands, right, Ramon, that it's not easy running a business, let alone a small business. And there's lots of bumps and there's exhilaration. And then there's the, oh my gosh, what happened? And Ramon is here to help us with that. Now, you've had several businesses, and maybe you can share a little bit about what you've done and what you're currently doing right now. So I'm just going to, before we get into the zone of genius, tell us a little bit about what you're into these days.
Sure. Besides trying to be healthy and serve my family and talking to good people like Anna, I think that basically you asked Anna, what are the companies I started? So generally speaking, in the content realm, smallbiztechnology.com, Smart Hustle, today zoneofgenius.com. But in the content world, bringing community content eyeballs together is my specialty, and then working with brands and sponsors to help monetize that traffic. So that's as far as the business end, what I'm all about. Married almost 30 years, have 2 adult children, and even though I definitely don't have a perfect attitude all the time, but I try to wake up every day, how can I make the world a better place? So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. I just have to say, you honestly don't look like you have adult children. Just saying, you look like you're in your youth. But then again, you know, the honest truth is that we're only as old as we feel and act. So you are definitely young at heart.
I'll be 60 and I'll be 70 in 20 years.
Oh, wow. Well, I won't say women shouldn't expose her age. But
no, I wasn't asking you. I was just telling me. I don't care. I mean, yeah.
Well, today you are here to talk about the zone of genius. And we were talking a little earlier about how, you know, it's particularly at the end of the year, we may not feel like we're in a zone of genius. And would really love for you to expound on what is our zone of genius and why is that important?
Sure. And one day I was at a church, not my church, but at a church of a friend of mine. His name is Joel. And he was playing bass guitar. So I don't know if you're in music or people around you are in music, but he was playing bass guitar. And he was in the middle of the stage playing bass guitar. And then he was talking to the pianist. He was talking to a song leader. And he was talking to the drummer. And I was like, wow, this guy's in his zone of genius. So in fairness, zone of genius can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Kobe Bryant, a popular athlete, a high-performing soldier, you know, their zone, or their sniper, whatever it is. So zone of genius, this zen, are we doing what we feel, what we're best at, and what we like doing? That's the greater sense of the word. In the context of the word, how we're using it as I build a zone of genius is really to help small businesses do just 3 simple phrases: live life fulfilled. That's it. So how can small business owners live life fulfilled? To remember that we're building our businesses, ideally speaking, to serve us, not that that we are slaves to, or that we're serving the business, but that the business is a vehicle to serve us, build wealth, give to others, build our communities, make the world a better place. So that's the framework, this aspect of Zone of Genius, where in previous companies, Small Biz Technology, Smart Hustle, and others, it was more the tactics. How do you do video better? Maybe there's someone on here who loves video. I don't know. But how do you do video better? How do you use Twitter? How do you do Facebook ads? Things like that, the speeds and feeds of business marketing, which are very important. But really with Zone of Genius, we talk about none of that. It's all about, how can you be a single dad and run two businesses? How can you breathe? How can you pause to keep going and start another business? How can you tell your employees, stop? We're going to do nothing today except relax and rest and watch Netflix or just pick our nose. So that's the theme that we're trying to do today, hopefully with Kleenex.
Exactly. Ramon, I think that is such an important topic because so many small business owners, they sacrifice themselves on the altar of success for their companies. I recently spent 3 solid weeks where I hadn't taken a day off. I was exhausted. And there were pressures coming at me, and I didn't feel that I had the capacity anymore, even to make decisions to steer my business in the right direction. And so the Zone of Genius, I think that's really, really important, particularly for small business owners. But now, how do we find our Zone of Genius? Because that can be a little tricky, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I think it's a blend. And I do want to give a shout out, by the way, as we talk about this term more broadly, to Gay Hendrickson. And sorry about that, reaching back in my shelf, Laura Garnett, who have a lot of IP on the broader sense of Zone of Genius. So I always want to uplift them. They've been doing the research for years. Mine is simply, I got the domain name zoneofgenius.com, building a media company around it. So I just always want to, as we talk, if we're going this deep into it. But I think that for me, and regarding business owners, just to be clear, I'm not talking about the emotional side of it, which the other authors talk about. But I think for small businesses, basically, how do we live life fulfilled? How do we live a life that our businesses serve us? I really feel half of it, yes, is the tactics of business success. When I look at my bookshelf here, I can pull out book after book. Mike Michalowicz's Profit First. I can pull out Jim Collins' Turning the Flywheel. I can turn out tons of books that are on my favorite shelf. Seth Godin's This Is Marketing comes to mind. So number of the tactics of business success, Anna, these are important. We do have to do this.
Yes.
What I'm referencing, though, as you said, how do we do it? Is remembering that the reason we're doing these things is so we can build a successful business that enables us to take time off, to give back, to donate money, to help, quote unquote, the poor. As Jesus said, the poor you always have with you. So I think that's how to do it, to make sure you have great funnels, great CRM, great marketing automation. But then I think you have to have the emotional disposition, the mindset disposition, the aptitude to always remember, why am I doing it? And again, I mentioned Seth Godin. I'll mention him again, as he says, it's to decide what you want to do. And for me, I don't want to build $1 billion company. Now, maybe I'm saying that because I've never built one yet. But for me, the stress and what it takes to do that, seems a bit much. Even though Sarah Blakely and others, God bless them, if you exit, they've done it. But I have made a decision. I like being in my home office. I want to pay myself well, zero shame in that, a team of freelancers who build the small business I have. I don't want to be a freelancer per se. Freelancer is a bit too small. That's kind of one person, not really scalable. But I want to be the entrepreneur that can build a scalable business, knowing that a lot of it still is on me. I'm comfortable with that. So if I can build a business that's a few low million a year, or even Anna, a few 100,000 a year that's highly profitable, that's a good deal of money. Because many businesses we talk about, oh, I made 6 figures. Let's set our sight higher than just I made 6 figures.
So we're really talking about how to build a business that also enables us to live the lifestyle and to benefit the people who are in our lives. That's right. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And that also, so success really needs to be something that we each define for ourselves and can live with. And for you, that's different than other people. But success isn't always about the numbers in the bank, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that's a part of it because, that enables you to do the things. If you don't have some of the things, some of the things you don't have could be no water. And that's pretty bad. But yes, it's not just about the money. It's not just about having the bling, 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 because you can have all the money in the world and be emotionally impoverished. You could be mentally impoverished. And I've been there. I've had periods of life where been highly depressed. I've struggled with thoughts of suicide, debilitating anger and screaming in my basement. So I know some of that pain. Now, it's not been jacked up as others who've gone through traumatic childhood trauma, things of this nature. But yes, it's not just the money in the bank account, but I think it's that balance to understand that there may be a point when enough is enough, or that you can get fulfillment, not by the dollars in the bank, but by the impact the lives you reach. So there's multiple things. Did any of that make sense, Anna? Sometimes when I speak, I hear myself talking and I say, Ramon, you don't make any sense. But Ramon didn't say that. So maybe I'm okay.
Oh, I'm reading a book. Oh, I wish I had brought it, but it's called Stillness is the Key. You may be familiar with the author, Ryan Holiday. And he has a chapter. The book is just full of short chapters. So I highly recommend it, especially if you that are watching, listening right now feel like, oh my gosh, I'm at the end of my rope. So one, obviously, Ramon here's going to help us with that. In the book, though, he has a chapter called Enough, Know When It's Enough. And so he tells a story about a painter who just decided he wasn't going to get competitive to have the better painting. And when he was asked why he wasn't striving to make more money, he said, because I have enough. And I think that's really important that you know when you have enough, because, the saying is, so how much money is enough? And somebody will say a penny more. And we're trying to get to where we understand enough and being content and still being able to make an impact. Do you want to comment on that for a moment?
No, I love that. And I think the way the other side of that, but I like your comment of the comment that I'm commenting on your comment, is that the other side of that, you like that, right? Is that
Love it.
There's never enough of how can I save more time? How can I be more productive? How can I make more of an impact? How can I spend more time with my family? How can I give to others? So I think it's a perfect balance. As Anna said, there's enough of saying, okay, I have 10 cars, 20 cars, 30 cars, billions of dollars. At some point, there's ideally enough, whatever that may mean for you or your family, your lifestyle. But the part that we can say, I will never have enough of is more optimization, more time. So I think if we fight towards that, as somebody says, that if you're trying to be rich per se, few people have woke up, I want to be rich. And they are. But I think many people, it's not trying to be rich. It's let me build a great business, have great customer service, do what I can to impact the world, to make my customers smile. Then the secret is you can't help get rich or have money in some way if you do that. So I think that's the way I see that, Anna, if that makes sense.
It does. So what we're talking about here is going to require courage, because it's so easy to get pushed around by the pressures that surround small businesses. So how do we thrive in our zone of genius? How do we thrive there so that, again, we can sleep at night and we can look each other in the face and go, I gave it my best and that was enough.
Yeah, I think a few things we can do, Anna. And I think one is a attitude of gratefulness. I think gratefulness really helps ground you and center you. This doesn't mean you don't want more. This doesn't mean you're not being competitive. This doesn't mean you're not getting better. Doesn't mean you're not going to do your hair. I mean, that's why I was late today. It took me about 6 hours to get my hair done today. The hairdresser wasn't in. It was a complicated mess. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you with that. Point being, gratefulness. Gratefulness is important. That's one. Just grateful for what we have. I think number two, training, and so we can get better and better and learn new things, learn new skills. I think three, delegation. Do we have the team, the expertise, even as I get a sense being on this show, right? Some people who've come in and out and helped us with this, that, and the other. Delegation, whether delegation for time, delegation because I just don't want to do it, or delegation because I don't know how to do it, nor do I need to know. As Denzel Washington said, if I needed an MBA, I would hire one. So those are a few things that I would say, Anna, with how we can thrive. And as we talk about at zoneofgenius.com, how we can live in our zone of genius, or as we say, live life fulfilled. being grateful, thankfulness, and et cetera, waking up with that. I think 2, getting better at what we do, learning new skills, learning how to do things. And then 3, and there's so many ways, but I'd love to hear your points, but I think 3 also is delegation. We can't do everything on our own. So if we want to grow, if we want to build, at some point we can lean on whether it's a executive assistant that's kind of a generalist in admin areas, or social media management, marketing automation, video production, whatever it may be. Those are a few things.
And one thing I think that adds to that is we have to also be patient.
Yes.
As where it's, gratitude lends itself to that. But as we're learning these skills and as we're learning delegation, and maybe this is a new skill for us, maybe it's not, but it takes time to get the results we're looking for. There are the overnight successes that took 20 years to become overnight successes. So the overnight success is rare. And as an entrepreneur, as a Christian, as a human being, I've learned that it's the process that leads to where I'm going that seems to have the greatest impact on who I am as a person and the people that I serve, whether it's my family, my employees, or my customers. We don't have to wait for that life that we are building till we get there. We need to start building that life now. It's okay to be competitive. It's okay to want success. It's okay to expand and learn and grow. And it's important that we know what we're moving toward and what we want for our life and start to live it now, even if it's just an hour at the end of the day where you put away all your computer equipment, you close up the books, you close the files, you stack everything up really nice on your desk, and you walk away and you go water your flowers, or you take your dog for a walk, or you make that nice meal that you promised your family. At the end of the day, we don't want people to wait until they've achieved something. Mm-hmm. Today is the day to begin to live the life that you are building for yourself, because it starts with small building blocks. Any closing comments you would have for our listeners and our viewers today, Ramon?
Yeah, I just say, hey, thanks for having me here. 2, life is not easy. 3, keep on going. Put your head down and then put your head back up again and keep going forward. Remember why you're in business. And really, thanks for having me here. Anna, you're amazing. And it's been great just to hang out with you and share what I can with the USA Biz audience. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.